Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is said to have many new elements that will be added to the franchise that fans have never seen before on the big screen by director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one aspect of Episode 9 that I believe a lot of people are really curious about and are very excited to see is, of course, exactly how J.J. Abrams is going to utilize the characters of Kylo Ren and Rey on the big screen, and exactly how they're actually going to be used, in a sense, during the third act of the movie, which is the last 50 to 45 minutes, give or take. Now, what's really intriguing about all of this is that these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for this movie. Now, specifically, shot descriptions consisting of both Rey and Kylo Ren in one of their Force bonds, where it's described that they are wielding both of their lightsabers and in a standoff, where the environment around them is described to be pure darkness, where during their confrontation they hear the voices of popular characters from the past, such as Obi-Wan, Luke, Palpatine, Anakin, and even Yoda. The dialogue of those characters are said to be scrambled, where it's described that Kylo comes charging toward Rey, where they begin a fast-paced duel in the creepy realm of darkness that is described to be created by their Force bond, where eventually the darkness begins to fade, where lightning begins to strike and rain begins to fall, where the environment around them begins to shift back to them fighting on what's described to be the Death Star 2 wreckage. The next describes both Rey and Kylo now locking their lightsabers again, where the environment around them is described to change into the world of Hoth, where they are fighting in the middle of a snowstorm, where Kylo is described to use the Force repulse technique, causing a major shockwave and a piece of the snowy cliff to crack and collapse, causing Rey to roll down a hill of snow. Their fight is said to continue in a fast-paced way with many elements of prequel trilogy choreography, where eventually they suddenly appear on the planet of Tatooine with Jabba's palace seen in the background as they begin their lightsaber duel once again. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, we do know that Episode 9 is going to embrace the idea of flash fights. In case you guys are just tuning in right now, flash fights are basically a mixture of Force bonds, flashbacks, and of course flash forwards, and adding in a lightsaber duel into the mix. And honestly guys, I appreciate J.J. Abrams for doing something like that. It's something new and unique, and at the same exact time, it is in fact a legitimate lightsaber duel, where their sabers are in fact going to be clashing against each other. But at the same exact time, a lot of people have been expressing mixed reactions and or their concerns about flash fights being a thing, and that's perfectly fine and okay. Everybody has their opinion. You know, this may seem very wacky and crazy to a lot of fans out there, because a lot of people may perceive this as something a little too, I guess you could say, non-Star Wars. Now, my point of view, they set up the whole entire idea of Force bonds in The Force Awakens. They pretty much planted the seeds in the interrogation room, is where it all really began, and then in The Last Jedi is where it started to blossom, and now in Episode 9, we're seeing it in full force, where we actually get to see, exactly what happens when you mix flash fights, flash forwards, flashbacks, and of course Force bonds that become flash fights. So with that being said, the whole entire sequence in the very beginning that really does, creep me out is the one where, Kylo Ren and Rey are described to be in pure darkness, fighting each other with their lightsabers and selves. So they're described to be in this, unknown realm, just pure darkness, no environment or whatever, no kind of object seen in the background, just black, just darkness, where both Kylo Ren and Rey are fighting, where it eventually transitions to them fighting in the middle of a thunderstorm on top of the Death Star 2 wreckage. So it really does seem like that photograph from Vanity Fair really is starting to line directly up with this, where they are indeed fighting on top of the Death Star 2 wreckage. Hence, it makes sense why at the very end of the teaser trailer, Rey is actually staring at the large wreckage in the distance from what appears to be 2 to 3 miles away, maybe even more than that. So looking at everything here, it really does bring one to question exactly, why is this occurring in the very beginning? Why are they in this creepy, dark realm that eventually transfers over to the Death Star 2 wreckage, which hence all the way, brings them back over to the world of Hoth, where Kylo Ren is said to use the Force Repulse technique, causing Rey to roll down a hill of snow. And this all takes place during a major snowstorm, kind of similar to what we saw in The Empire Strikes Back, where Han Solo's trying to save Luke and stuff like that. So with that being said, guys, like I always say, you know, JJ is really trying to use the flash fights as a way in order to really bring us back to all of our fan favorite worlds and all of these different new elements that are going to be added into the mix, such as the Death Star 2 wreckage being one of the new battle areas for their lightsaber duel in Episode 9, which honestly, guys, I think it's going to be a very iconic and legendary fight. You know, you can just imagine it right now, you know, the battle on Death Star 2 wreckage and everything around those lines is really going to stand out, in my opinion, from everything lightsaber related in the sequel trilogy itself. So overall, guys, let me know what you think about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.